channel. Today we are going to talk about protection crystals. People use crystals for all different kinds of reasons, but I feel like a lot of times people get kind of pulled into this world because of the protection crystals. They'll either go through something and someone will recommend crystals to them, or they will hear someone else's success story with using a protection crystal, usually black tourmaline, and how it keeps negativity away from you. So when people hear about that, they run to the nearest crystal shop and they buy a protection crystal. So in a way, just as I feel all crystals are kind of healing, I also feel like all crystals are kind of protective. Like, crystals just help us and support us in so many ways. However, there are certain ones that definitely stick out as more protective than others, and I'm just going to go through some of my favorite ones with you. Probably the most famous, most popular protection stone is black tourmaline. This is the one I hear people talking about all the time. Black tourmaline is kind of like a sponge, and it's an energy purifier. So it's going to take the energy, it's going to cleanse it, purify it, and transform it from a dense energy to a healthier energy. Even though it's like bringing all of this negative energy in and releasing it, it's first transmuting it and changing it before releasing it. So it's not like you're just like pushing the negative energy away from you and onto whoever or whatever else is around it. Black tourmaline is actually going to do the job of cleansing it also. Because black tourmaline does so much work like this, you want to cleanse black tourmaline often. It's taking a lot of hits for you. It's absorbing a lot of negative energies for you. And even though it's like transforming it and putting it back out there, it gets a little bit exhausted. If you use black tourmaline a lot and you don't cleanse it, you will notice that it will start to crack a lot more than usual. I mean, a little bit of cracking is normal on black tourmaline, especially on like haystack pieces like this, not so much on the tumbled stones, but black tourmaline will crack more when it needs cleansed. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Some people call this the bodyguard stone because not only does it cleanse energy, but it also puts a force field around your aura. It puts basically boundaries between you and like energy vampires and things like that. So not only is it like cleansing everything, but it's also like giving you a nice little force field. Black tourmaline can also help you feel anchored, which is a very safe feeling. And it's actually a really good protector against electromagnetic radiation. One cool thing about black tourmaline is if you get a piece of black tourmaline with mica on it, and of course that's not the one I have, so let me go get it. So this piece of black tourmaline has a lot of mica in it, and mica is shiny and reflective. So specifically, when you have a piece of black tourmaline with mica on it and people are sending you like bad vibes, bad juju, whatever it is, the reflective mica will actually send it back to them. So it's like an extra layer of protection with like a mirror quality, which is pretty cool. The next protective crystal we're going to talk about is smoky quartz. Here is a nice little generator of smoky quartz. It has some rainbows in here. I'm also wearing a smoky quartz bracelet. Smoky quartz comes in a variety of shades. So you can see this is a very light smoky quartz, but if you look at it up against white, you see it's definitely smoky. This is a much darker color of smoky quartz, obviously, but it's not black. If you look at it next to the black bracelets, maybe you can tell it's not black. It's a very just dark smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is very powerful. It's kind of known to absorb large amounts of negativity from multiple sources. And smoky quartz is very connected to the earth. It's very grounding. So what it actually does with all of that negative energy is it grounds it and releases it into the earth. And I don't want you to think of this as a bad thing. The earth is very, very healing towards energies. So that's the way that it's cleansing the energy. It's helping it go into the ground, and the ground does a lot of the like magical transmutation work itself. With the black tourmaline, I feel like the black tourmaline is more of something that you pick up, it's cleansing all of your stuff out, and then it puts this shield around you, right? And I feel like smoky quartz is more of a thing that you put in a room and it kind of like cleanses a space more than the black tourmaline. And I don't want to say one's better than the other for one thing or another. That's just the way that I see it working the best mentally, like in my just how I see it working. Smoky Quartz is great for psychic protection. This is another one that is going to cleanse and clear electromagnetic smog and all the junk in the air around us. Next, we're going to talk about obsidian. And obsidian is a really cool stone because it actually comes from quickly cooling volcanic matter. So it has the elemental forces of fire and water and earth, which is why it's so good at transforming energies. Here's a piece of obsidian that's kind of big enough for you to hopefully see. And you can see that obsidian is kind of shiny usually. This one is just carved, so certain parts of it are matte. But obsidian is usually shiny. It's usually a little bit lighter than other stones, although it is not as light as some like jet and amber. And obsidian is another one that helps cleanse your auric field. But the cool thing about obsidian is it helps you cut through illusions. So it helps you get your mind kind of in like really good shape. It helps exercise your mind a lot and helps you see through things. So it's said to reveal the darkness that hides the light in any situation. Sometimes things are hidden and you need to bring them to lightness in order to be able to see them. So it helps you see the things that you need to figure out to get to where you want to be. It gives you this like razor sharp mental ability. It's supposed to clear out all the old junk in your head. It's supposed to draw out mental stress, draw out tension. So it's very like cleansing to you, but it's also just tweaking you so that you can use your own abilities more. So it's protective in that it's making you stronger and more observant and being able to pay attention to things. And in that way, you're much more protected. When I first started wearing obsidian regularly, it's one of the ones that for me kind of emotionally, it helped me not take on the things that were around me that weren't mine. And I think that's an important lesson to learn on your own in life, but also if you're in a situation where you're around a lot of people and you're still trying to like figure that out. For me at least, obsidian was very, very helpful in discerning which energies were mine and which energies I needed to not take on. And that kind of brings me to a good point. It's important to remember that crystals aren't necessarily going to keep you from feeling everything. Like if you are an empathic type of person and you pick up on things that are going on around you, like I was just talking about, it's not that you won't feel them anymore, but you will be able to separate them and know what not to take on. Like you'll still be able to feel someone's energy, but you won't have to absorb it. And that is the key. The next protective stone we are going to talk about is jet. Jet is actually fossilized tree resin, so it's very, very, very light. It feels very plasticky when you first pick up jet. Jet is another dark stone. Usually, as a rule, all of the dark stones are very protective. But I put jet in between two other black stones here. This is shungite and neumite. And I just wanted to show you how it's a black stone, it's a dark stone, but see how it has a little bit of a sheen? Jet's this one in the middle. It's not as black as the other ones. It almost has like a greenish tinted sheen. And like I said, it's very, very light. I don't know if you'll be able to tell this, but like, so that's shungite and that's jet. Can you tell how much lighter it is? Jet is like an energetic filter. So it only lets in good vibrations, not bad vibrations. And also it'll help you get rid of any negative vibrations in yourself, but it's not going to just push them out. It's also going to show you what the lesson was there. It helps you understand the original source of whatever it is it's cleaning out of you and helping you learn that lesson, whatever that lesson was. So it's like, it's like teaching you in a way. It's protecting you and helping you, but teaching you along the way as well. Jet is also very good for cleaning negativity out of an environment, a lot like Smoky Quartz. And that makes a lot of sense because since jet does come from trees, it's very connected to the earth. So in the same way that Smoky Quartz kind of takes energy and grounds it into the earth and transmutes it that way, jet kind of does the same thing. And of course, it is connected to all of the elemental forces. So not just earth, but all of them, because it is very nature based. Not that all crystals aren't nature based, but trees are more a part of our world than crystals are. Like, think about the fact that crystals all grow underground. And trees have that underground mystery as well, but they also come up into this dimension. So it's like trees are multidimensional and they're living underneath the ground and all this mystery and magic, but they're also up here in our world. So they know more about how to connect with everything because trees see everything in both dimensions, above and below, within and without. So because jet comes from trees, it's actually more connected to all of the natural forces than just other crystals are, because crystals are very like magical and mysterious and they come from underground. So that's why they're not necessarily all as connected with all of the nature elements that are above ground, if that makes any sense. So the next stone we're going to talk about is actually a very protective stone that is not a dark stone. And sometimes I've actually had people ask me before, specifically for their children, if I could find them a protective stone that was not black. And while I don't want to discourage anyone from working with black or dark stones, they do have a lot of power in them. Because they are protective doesn't mean that you can't do some like really cool magical stuff with them. If you have a child who's already kind of coming into something of their own, maybe they're seeing spirits or seeing auras or whatever it is, if you're a child and you have certain abilities and you don't understand them yet, you don't necessarily want to give that child something that's going to make their abilities stronger when they don't yet understand them. Because if they don't have a lot of control over their emotions and things like that, then you could be creating a world of problems. So in that way, I understand how with certain children, you wouldn't want to give them a black stone. As an overall blanket statement, I think all crystals are fine to give all people, pretty much. Please don't be discouraged from giving your children black stones. I think that wearing black tourmaline around when you're a young child is probably super beneficial to most people. But if you do want an alternative that's very protective but not a black stone, I would go with fluorite. This is rainbow fluorite. You can see there's green in here and purple. There might be a tinge of blue in here in certain places. Fluorite is really, really nice. It's protective, but it also helps you with focus and memory. So that's another reason this is great to put on a child, sending them off to school. It's protecting them, but it's helping them concentrate, helping their memory. Fluorite guards you from picking up negativity. So it's one that, while the black tourmaline and some of the other stones work on you, like you pick it up and it starts cleaning the stuff out of you, fluorite, I think, works better if you're already clear. So maybe do some kind of an energy cleaning before you start wearing fluorite all the time, and I think that it will give you an even better experience. You can do something like smudging yourself, hold on to a couple pieces of black tourmaline for a day, sleep with some black tourmaline the night before, take a really nice salt bath, get Reiki done. There's so many different ways to clean your energy fields. And then after you clean your energy field, then putting the fluorite on is going to keep you from picking up anything else negative. Fluorite also improves your physical and mental connection. Like I said, it's really good for your mind. So think about how we were saying that with the obsidian, it's kind of like helping you tweak yourself so that you're more protected. Fluorite, in a way, it's helping you be more connected with your physical and mentalness. So in a way, think about like hand-eye coordination and agility and things like that. Like that is something that in certain situations would be protective for you. It's another one that's like making you better. But a really, really interesting and cool thing about fluorite is if you're concerned at all about black magic or someone wishing you malicious intent or something like that, fluorite actually cloaks your aura. So if there is someone out there who's trying to like send you negativity, or if they're just like, even if they're not doing it on purpose and they're jealous of you or something like that, fluorite is going to cloak your aura so that when they're trying to send you something, they don't know where they're sending it. They can't find you. Like their energy can't find your energy in a way. So that's something that I thought was really, really fascinating. Another stone that is worth mentioning but not on my main list is Labradorite. And here's a piece of Labradorite right here. But Labradorite is good for things like that too. Like if you think someone is like gossiping about you or wishing you ill intent or something like that, Labradorite is supposed to help protect you from that. So, oh God, it's so pretty. Fluorite is also very protective against electromagnetic radiation. So it's always great to have stones like that around. The next crystal we are going to talk about is pyrite. Here's a lovely piece of pyrite that I like to wear. Pyrite, think about how pyrite is, it's like a metal, it looks like a metal, it's shiny. Pyrite is like a shield. So it shields you and protects you against negativity. And that's supposed to be on all levels, like the physical plane, the etheric plane, emotional levels. It's supposed to protect you in all of those ways. So it's another one that's supposed to help protect your environment from negative vibes. So because it's a metal, think about like the idea behind organite. If you don't know what organite is, I made a whole video about it. I'll go ahead and link it for you. But organite is an energy cleaner that you can make. And the way that you attract energy into these energy cleaners is with metal. So pyrite is a metal. So it's going to naturally pull in energies from the environment, stray, excess energy, all of it. It's going to pull all of it in. It has a very strong earth energy as well. So it like mingles with that energy and it helps cleanse it. Also, because of the whole metal thing and the shielding thing, it's actually supposed to create a force field around you that makes your aura stronger in itself, but then it's also giving you like a shield outside of your aura. So that's easy to remember because pyrite is so shiny and metal like a shield. All right, there's no way I can make a protective crystals video without talking about Moldavite. You guys know I love Moldavite. If you don't know what Moldavite is, I will link my video for you. Please go check it out. Moldavite is my favorite crystal. It's magical. It's life-changing. It's Moldavite. Here is a piece of Moldavite. This is a little bit of a lighter one. She has very like clear, clean, wise energy. Moldavite is very protective. I don't really know how to explain the protection behind Moldavite. Moldavite is such a mysterious thing to try to explain anyways, and I feel like Moldavite has a consciousness, and so it's hard to explain how they work. They're like too advanced for us to understand what they do, but we recognize and know that they're doing it, even though we don't know how. I personally, like I had heard before, of course, that Moldavite was protective, but more than hearing it, I've felt that before. I have felt the pull before to pick up a piece of Moldavite or to put a piece of Moldavite on if I get like a weird sense of creepiness sometimes. I feel like Moldavite makes you feel more powerful and it makes you feel like you're more in control. It takes you to the next best version of yourself. So in all of those ways, I can see how it's protective. But more than that, I think it has something to do with how high vibrational Moldavite is. And when you become accustomed to Moldavite, then your vibration raises with it. So when you're living up here, I think that it's just so much harder for a negative entity to even reach you. Like they don't even know how to get up here with you. And if they somehow do, I don't think that they would be able to stay up there comfortably for a long enough time to chip away at your magical armor. That's just how I look at it. It's just very spiritually protective because it would be very difficult for a negative entity to attach to your aura while you're in such a great space. That's one way I can kind of try to explain of why this may be protective, but it definitely is. And besides being protective, Moldavite does so many amazing things for your life. You should definitely get Moldavite. So those are my top 7 picks for protection crystals. And then honorable mentions, we talked about Labradorite, but shungite is another great protection crystal, specifically for EMFs, microwaves, Wi-Fi, all of that stuff. They make little shungite stickers that you can actually put on your cell phones and tablets and devices so that you're protected from all of that stuff. So that's definitely a great one to have. And then tiger's eye is very, very protective too. And I feel like it's both physically protective, but it's also just really powerful because it helps you see people's true intentions and it helps you see people's true energy. So that is making you more aware so that you are more protected, a lot like the obsidian. So different ways to utilize protection crystals is to grid your house with them. Especially with the black tourmaline, you can put them in all 4 corners of your house. You can put them in all 4 corners of your room and kind of grid it like that. I actually did a video on gridding your house with crystals. I will link that below for you also. Another thing you can do is get really small pieces of black tourmaline. And personally, just in the past month, I went around my whole house and I put 2 little pieces of black tourmaline on top of all of my door frames. So walking from room to room, I'm walking through all this black tourmaline all the time. And it's just something I wanted to experiment with. And so far, I really like it. I feel like the house feels really clear. But also think about wearing protection crystals, definitely. Like, especially when you're first starting, try to keep one in your auric field for an entire day, especially one of the ones that's going to like clear out all of your stuff for you, like the black tourmaline. Even if you don't get a bracelet or a necklace or something like that, like a tumbled stone in your pocket would be great. Try to work with it for a whole day and let it clear everything out and kind of like start fresh and new on this journey. As far as like wearing them goes, of course, it's so easy to throw on a bracelet or a necklace. And think about the fact that we as humans have been wearing amulets or talismans forever. Like, this is definitely not a new thing. In the ancient days, they wore crystals all the time for certain things. So it's definitely something that we've always been drawn to and we've always felt. And I think that it's a really good idea to wear protection crystals. So let me know, do you wear protection crystals all the time or do you just keep them around you? And what is your favorite? I would love to hear about it. Thanks so much for joining me today, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you guys next time.